Good evening, my name is John Benicki. I'm a member of the Elkhart Model Railroad Club, and tonight we're going to talk about how to tune up your rolling stock for the best operation. As part of our bylaws here at the club, we have a section that talks about how your rolling stock should be set up. It discusses what type of couplers you should be using, if you should be using steel wheels or plastic wheels, and it also talks about how the car should be weighted for good operation. So tonight we're going to start off, say you went to a show, you bought yourself a car, and you want to run it on the layout. So you want to bring it in, and first thing you want to do is I look to see if it's got plastic wheels. If it's got plastic wheels, they got to go. Second thing I look at is the couplers. This one had Katy couplers, which are what we use as a standard. If it had horn hooks or any of the other plastic couplers, they would be removed. So what I'll do is I've got a bunch of tools here that I like to use when I'm doing this. I've got a variety of needle nose pliers. I have some special Katy trip pin pliers that come in handy if you have to bend the pins. I have a variety of screwdrivers, an X-Acto knife. For Athearn box cars, they use a clip that holds the coupler in place, and those have a tendency to fall off. So what I have been using is there's a company called A-Line that makes a jig that you can put over the pin, and it allows you to drill and tap that so that you can put a 1/8" screw in there to hold that coupler pocket in place. So what I'll do is I'll start by taking off all the wheels. So we'll take the car apart. And I like to use these little plastic containers to keep all the parts in one place. Especially if you're working on a couple of cars at one time, you don't get them mixed up. All right, so we've got the trucks off of it. So we'll take off the plastic wheels. And I've got steel wheels already, and I've taken these, and this is a fabric marker, and I use that to just put a weathering coat on the wheels so they're not so shiny. But before I put those in, Micromark makes what they call a truck tuner. And it's just a little device that you put in to your trucks. You spin it around a couple of times, and what it does is it cleans out into burrs where the trucks sit so that you get a freer rolling piece of rolling stock. Just a couple of spins each side. Put your steel wheels in there. And as far as steel wheels go, I like to use the Intermountain, but I've also had good luck with the branch line steel wheels, but my favorites are the Intermountains. So you put those together. We'll get the second set.
So you don't put any graphite or anything in those?
I don't put any graphite in there because I found that it tends to gum it up.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you check the gauge of your wheels
Yes.
before putting them in?
Before putting, well,
Or should you?
you should check your gauge before you put them in.
Okay.
So you go back.
But you already did that before the clinic, right?
Yeah. This car's been apart a couple of times. All right, so then you have your wheels together. Then what I like to do is, as part of this, I bring the cars up to NMRA weight standards. And to do that, they have a formula that's 1 ounce to start with and then ½ ounce for every inch of car length. I found online, it's a printout of a scale, and all you do is you take the car, you put the end of the car on the end of the scale, and then you read it, and it will tell you what the weight should be. This car, it says that it should be 4.6 ounces. So then we'll take the car and the trucks. And this is just an inexpensive digital scale. The one I use at home is $10. Okay, this car weighs just under 4 ounces, which is underweight. So for weights, I like to use either, these are wheel weights with double-sided tape, or just a variety of, these are steel washers. I found these on a job site. Nuts or bolts. I've even used money. Pennies are the least expensive weight that you can use, but it just seems wrong gluing them into a car.
Federal offense.
What are you looking at me for?
So our car was just under 4 ounces. So we'll put weights on the scale until we get it up to 4.6. The nice thing about these is you can break them up. Okay, so those 3 weights will bring it up to 4.7. So we'll go ahead and take the car apart so that we can put the weights inside. All right, I like to take these and put them so they'll be centered over the trucks. To keep them as low as possible. All right. Weights. And I like taking the weights beforehand and spray painting them flat black so that you don't really notice them after you've got everything put back together.
Do you know, John, obviously box cars, you can tell where the end is and stuff. Tank cars, do you know how they determine, is it the end of the platform, or is it the end of the tank that they go by, or?
I go by the end of the platform, since that's the actual length of the car.
Okay.
Okay, so now we've got the weight in it. We'll go ahead and put our trucks back on. This one came with KD couplers, so they're already installed. I've already gone through, I found this device, it's the A-line tap and drill set. This allows you to go on blue box cars that use this little metal clip to hold the coupler in place. And what this allows you to do is there's a little pin, and this will sit over that pin, and then it allows you to drill that out. And once you have it drilled out, you can tap it, so it'll take a 256 screw That way when you put your coupler in it and put your coupler pocket back on it, you can put a screw to hold it in place like this, so you don't lose that coupler pocket. Because that's one of the things these cars have a tendency to pull the coupler pockets. So, all right, so we'll put our trucks back on. And then what we're going to do after that is check the coupler height. One of the big problems with a lot of these cars is the coupler height. If you get mismatched coupler heights, you'll get a lot of cars that uncouple as they're going around the layout, especially as I hit a dip or a rise in the track work. So what I do is, Katie has a gauge that you can use. I've got here on the test track. And I've got two of them, that way I don't have to swing the car around as much. And what I'll do is you put it on there, and it should line up exactly with the coupler that's on there. And then also, if you keep your trip pins on, you want to make sure that it clears the little platform that's down here. So this side is fine. Now on the other side, our coupler is a little bit low and our trip pin is hitting. So to adjust that, what we'll do is we'll pull that coupler or that truck back off. And Katie makes a variety of different washers for changing the coupler heights. So we'll just put a washer on there. And typically with the Athearn cars, they'll fit right over the post. We'll put it back together, and then we'll double check the car. You want to keep doing that until you get the coupler to the correct height. All right, that one's still good. Come down to this side. And now we've got this side is also at the proper height. So now we've added weight to the car. We've changed the couplers, and we've added steel wheels to it. So this would now meet the standards for what the club calls for to run on the layout. Are there any questions?
You mentioned wheel weights. Are those automotive type wheel weights? You buy them in an automotive
Yes.
store? Oh, okay.
These are automotive wheel weights. I have a friend that worked at a service station, was kind enough to get me a bunch of those. You can also find them at Harbor Freight, but those tend to be a lot more expensive.
You can also order boxes of it on Amazon too.
Right.
I've done that. On the gauges you've got there, those are not insulated, correct? On your coupler
No,
gauges?
these are not insulated.
So you don't want to put that on a DCC system layout while it's on.
That's why I have my own little test section. Now this is also my programming track, so you have to make sure that you take those off when you're doing your programming. They do make another gauge that is plastic, so you don't have to worry about it. But
okay.
I've had these for
The
a long time.
the newer Katie sample kits come with the plastic.
With the
ones.
plastic ones.
Okay.
And Katie does make a variety of different couplers. I like this number 5. That's been around forever.
Old reliable.
It's old reliable. The new version of that is the 148, and it's the same coupler, but instead of the little brass spring, it has whiskers. So you don't have to worry about the extra little spring. But they also make a variety of, this is a number 5, but it's a undershank. So you can adjust, if you have a car that you can't adjust with washers, you can use an undershank or an overshank so that you can get to the right gauge or to the right height. Well, my name's John Benicki, and I'm a member of the Elkhart Model Railroad Club, and thank you for joining me tonight.